Chodesh. There's another Rebbe to make it for bringing every day Chodesh. Hopefully we're gonna be
Tomorrow's also the
tonight, but now it's for sure the Chodesh. But at least one night.
Hello. Chico.
Tell you.
Return to us.
So L'chaim, the Rebbe says you should get together every month, and every community, should get together and give each other a bracha for the upcoming month. Now it's not only a bracha for the upcoming month, but now we already give a bracha for the whole upcoming year.
Well, give me some beer.
I have spirit enough.
Oh, you have.
I have vodka. So God should bless us and all the Jewish people. We should all have a ksiva, v'chsiva tova, l'shana teva mesuka, teva anir v'anigla, v'gashmi, suberuchni, tzmat masarat lofim. And the main bracha we should see Mashiach this second. Okay, the topic on the sign said, are there prophets in our times? That's the topic of today. It's going to start in order, more or less the way the Rebbe said the Sikha. This week's parsha is what's this week's parsha? Parsha is Shoftim. It says Shoftim v'Shoitrim titin lacham b'chol sha'arecha. You should appoint judges and policemen in all of your gates. God's giving you. This right away reminds us of a similar prophecy that it says in Yeshaya. It says, I will bring back, I will return your judges the way they were, and I'll bring back your advisors. And like we said every day in Shemoneh Esrei, so first of all, the Rebbe points out that now, according to all the signs in Torah, we're holding already by the Geula. What it says, all the deadlines are finished already. So all the times, when is the Mashiach and the Covenant already finished? So what it says, back then. And the only thing that's God's waiting for is us to do tshuva. So that we also did. And then the Frierdiker Rebbe said, we just need to polish the buttons. Everything's ready. You're wearing the garments, the clothes. Everything's ready. You just need to do the last polish. The Rebbe said we did that also. And we're standing ready to greet Mashiach. So we know that now we're holding by the time of this prophecy being fulfilled, that God will return back. We're holding by the goal already. We're holding that this will take place. We're ready, basically, Mashiach is going to come very soon. This prophecy is going to be fulfilled to the fullest. We're going to have the judges, we're going to have the Sanhedrin, we're going to have the advisors, etc. Now there's a point, the Rambam, in his Pirush HaMishnayos, he says that this prophecy that God will bring back the judges and the advisors, this will be Oid Koidem Boy HaMashiach. That's the words of the Rambam. It's going to be even before Mashiach comes. So if we're holding now right before the coming of Mashiach, which in the beginning we're saying we're holding right before it's going to take place, the redemption, when then God's going to bring back the judges and the advisors. But now the Rambam holds that it happens in the time before the Gula already. This prophecy happens already before the Gula. And like the Rambam writes, the next pasuk says, or the same pasuk says, "V'shiva sheftayich k'varishenu v'yatzayich k'vatchila, v'achar kach, v'achar kein yikod aloch irat tzedek kiryo hane'emona." It says, after that, I'm going to call you the holy city, or the righteous city, the trusted settlement. So first it says, I'm going to bring back your judges and your advisors, and later on God's going to take care of Yerushalayim and the Beis Hamikdash and the whole redemption. So the Rambam proves from this that it's going to happen even before the Gula. Okay, but now before we explain all of this, we have some questions in this week's parsha, and the differences between the way it says in this week's parsha to the way Yeshaya Hanavi prophesies the way this is going to take, the way it's going to come back. In the this week's parsha, it says, "Shoftim v'shoitrim titin l'cha b'chol she'arecha." You should appoint judges and policemen, law enforcement. Yeah, but that right. So in the parsha, it says "Shoftim v'shoitrim." In the prophecy, it says judges and advisors. Doesn't say police. The question is, you have a mitzvah in Torah to appoint judges and policemen. It's a mitzvah. It says if there's no policeman, there's no judge. A policeman without a judge is worth nothing. That's what the Medrash says, because a judge says, do so and so.
You got to tell it to these abolish the police people.
What
jobs?
Democrats.
Yeah, the Democrats.
They do
They
catch and
don't,
release.
they don't think you need police.
Catch and release.
Catch and release, baby.
If a judge says, do so and so, this is the verdict, and the guy says, have a nice day, and just keeps on walking, and he doesn't listen, that's why you need police. That people listen, and the judges,
Law and order.
That's it.
the judgment of the judge should actually be fulfilled. So that's why you need policemen. That's shoftim v'shoitrim. Now, so that's the number one. Why the Gula doesn't say policeman? Now, also, what does it say? It says instead of policeman, it says advisors. What's the difference between a policeman and an advisor? Also, in this week's parsha, it says, shoftim v'shoitrim. You should appoint judges and policemen. In the redemption, in the messianic prophecy, it says, I will return your judges and your advisors. It doesn't say judges and advisors. You're a judge and your advisor. So why that change also? Now another difference, the way it does it in the prophecy, like we said in Shemona Esrei, it says, return us, Hashiva Shefteinu, Kavadi Shoina, to the way it was at the first times, Kavadi Shoina. But Yoatzeinu and our advisors, Kivatchila, as in the beginning. Why by the judges does it say Kavadi Shoina? And by the advisors it says Kivatchila. Is it the first or is it the beginning? What's the change of the first to beginning? Now the Rebbe starts to explain. Now, what's the difference between a judge and a policeman? The point of the judge is to say what is Tas Torah, what's the Torah's verdict, which means what's the law? That's what judges are here to do. Judges here are to say the law. The policemen are here to bring out and make it actually happen, to make sure it gets done. It's not enough that the judge said in consistent court and say this guy needs this and this guy needs that. If there's no policeman, then what's the guy going to do? Imagine there was a judge sitting there by himself and with no one else. So the guy will maybe kill the judge or whatever. Just imagine, no police. There's no one bringing out fruition, make what the judge said take place. That's what the job of the policeman is, which means the policeman is in essence there not for his own. He doesn't have an importance on his own. He's just there to bring out what the judge said. According to this, the Rebbe explains why this week's parsha is called Parsha Shoftim, not Shoftim Shoftim. And also in the mitzvah, what? Shoftim Shoftim? And the side, but the Rebbe over here mentions that that's not the name. So I don't know who wrote the name in the Zohar, but yeah, so basically the name of the parsha, the way it is most places at least, if the Rebbe is saying that that's the name, and the way we count it, you look at most Chumashim, or all the Chumashim by size of now, it's just called judges. Shoftim. Because now, and also the mitzvah is to appoint only judges. There's no mitzvah on its own to appoint policemen, which means the whole point of the policeman is just to bring out the judgment of the judge. So in the Geula, when then it says it's God's going to take out of the spirit of impurity from the world. So when the judge says this is the law, you're not going to have people not listening and not wanting to do what the judge says. Then you're going to need a policeman to go there and force people to do. Rashi says, what's a shaitan? He's there with a whip with a stick, to whip people on the back, to whip people with a stick, to make sure they fulfill the judge's what the law the judge says what the law is. But when Mashiach's going to come, then everyone's going to want to do what God wants. There's going to be no need for a policeman. The Rebbe points out that because in the end of the day, it's a mitzvah in Torah. It's a mitzvah. It says you should appoint policemen. So even in the Geula, there's also going to be policemen. There will be. The question is, what will they be doing then? And the Rebbe says, in the Geula, the policemen will not be there to force people to make sure they listen to the judge. The Rebbe says they're going to be busy advertising that there is a judge, that there is the judge. Or the Rebbe says, like we're learning actually, those that learn one chapter Rambam every day, that if people see the new moon, you need to run to the Beis Din. So let the Beis Din know that they saw the moon. So the policeman can be paving the roads. The policeman will find other jobs to do. Basically, they won't be bored. But
Eating donuts.
we're eating donuts like they do now anyways. That you don't need Mashiach to come. Yeah. So the policeman. So that's the point. In the Geula, it doesn't say judges. It doesn't say policemen because they don't have a purpose in themselves as their own. They're only there to help the judge. If there's no need in them, then you don't need him. Okay, so what's an advisor? What's the difference between the judge and the advisor? And why by the Geula does it say, I'm going to give you advisors instead of the policemen? So the Rebbe explains, a judge is someone that says what's the law. But a judge is aloof, he's up there, he's abstract, he's exalted from the people that he's judging them. He's not necessarily, a judge is not allowed to even consider who he's dealing with. He's a poor man. Okay, so I'm gonna treat him different. Pasuk says, you don't give any more respect to a rich person, to a poor person, to a big rabbi, to this, to that. The judge doesn't care about who he's dealing with. Aid can be a judge because he has a different view, right? He has a different view.
Doesn't the Beis Din have like a talus? They put a talus over their face so they don't see who they're dealing with. Is that a true thing? I've heard.
It is true. It says about Allah, about Tov, but I don't know if that's the reason. But the point is, by the during the Beis Din, they're meant to wear it says about Tofa. By Tifa, they're by judges. I'm not even sure which stage, but it says the judge should have sent head and word Alaysim. But the point is, the judge does not consider who he's dealing with. He's not going down there to speak to someone eye to eye. He's not seeing where the person is holding. He's just saying what the law is.
He's not even supposed to.
He's not allowed to. He's not allowed to. He's not allowed to consider. He's saying what Torah is saying. That's it. That's what the judge is. He's saying what's Torah. He's saying what that is. Now, what is a witness? What's an advisor? An advisor is someone like the literal Eitz Tova. Yoyetz, an advisor, is someone that's looking at you in the eye. He's your friend. He's speaking to you. Who do you go to get advice from? You're going to get an advisor, someone to give you a good idea to speak. Someone that's on your level, so to speak, or someone that is considering with you and where you're holding to make. So even after the Torah says what the law is, the advisor comes there and he tries to apply it to you, to make it something that you could understand. You could So now, a policeman is making you do it, but he doesn't care. He's doing it by force. He's coming with a stick, with a whip, and he's saying, "Do it," and he's just bangs the guy on his back or whatever. He makes the guy do it. Doesn't make the person want to do it. It doesn't make it something that the person feels comfortable doing it. The police doesn't care. That's not their job. An advisor is there to take the Torah and deliver it to a person in a pleasant way, in a way that he feels that he wants it, that he accepts it, that he comes one with him. He's speaking to the person on his level. That's what an advisor is, right? Guy wants good advice. He's not going to a Rav. What's the difference between a Rav and a Mashmiah? A Rav and a Mashmiah. A Rav or a judge or a dayan. Guy says what Torah wants. That's it. What's the halacha? You want to know what's the halacha, or you want to know how you go to Rav? He can tell you what the halacha is, black and white. That's it. Have a nice day. He's not considering. Okay, where is this person holding now? Where is he holding in Yiddishkeit or whatever? You want to know what the halacha is? What does the Torah say? This is what the Torah is. Mashmiah is meant to make a person understand why you should want to do it. That's what a yoytz is. To bring it down, to bring it close to your heart, to make it something that you want to do, that you're excited to do, to make it something that you accept it and you internalize it in a primistic way. That's what a judge is. And the Rebbe explains that's the difference between Torah and Nevuah. Torah and prophecy. Torah is higher than the world. It says the definition. Torah is l'maylam and olam, higher than the world. Torah was there 2,000 years before the world was created. That's what Torah is all about. That's what Torah is. Torah is not necessarily considered with the world. It's just there. And so too, that's what shoftim are in Torah. The Rebbe says, what's a yoyetz, an advisor? That is like a prophet. What's a prophet? What was the job of the prophets in Jewish history? They were there to encourage people to keep the Torah. They were there to apply the Torah to your day-to-day life, to make the Yidden inspire to keep the Torah here and now. And also a prophet, literally, what's prophecy? What's the difference between if a Rav tells you to do something and someone doesn't listen, or a dayan or a judge, or if a Navi tells you to do something and someone doesn't listen? If a dayan tells you and based on do this, do that, and you don't listen, so there's different punishments. You'll pay this penalty, you'll pay that penalty, whatever it is. If they pay this amount of money, I don't know what. If a prophet tells you to do something from God, he tells you prophecy, you should do so, and someone doesn't listen, he's chayiv misa. Doesn't make a difference what he tells the person to do. You can tell him make a tumble sauce, and you don't listen, the guy's chayiv misa. Drink a cup of water. When it's a diet, when it's Torah, when it's a judge telling a person what to do, then it makes a difference. Is it Chilul Shabbos? Is it Kodesh? Is it Alav? Is it this? There's different levels. Because you're not speaking to the person in his face. A prophet is God's light coming down to this world, coming through the mouth of the prophet. And when a prophet is speaking to someone in his face and telling him, do so and so, it's like God speaking to you in your face and talking to you directly and telling you do so and so. And if someone doesn't listen to the prophet, he's like a moed b'melech. If someone doesn't listen to a king, if someone rebels against the king, a king tells a person do this and this, and someone doesn't listen to the king, what does a person get when he's a moed b'malchus? It's a chayiv misa. Doesn't make a difference what the king told the person to do, because the king is speaking to you in your face. So you got to listen. Which means a prophet is the way God is coming down. That's what prophecy is. It's like the idea of a yoyetz, like an advisor. It's God's light coming all the way down here in this world. Like an advisor, when he's speaking to someone, he's not like a judge that could be separated from the person. There could be some gap between the judge and the person. That's why you need a policeman in the middle to force the person to keep the verdict of the judge. Or what does an advisor do? He brings it down. And he makes it understandable. He makes it make sense, so to speak. That's what a prophet is. That it's God's light coming all the way down here into this world, and the prophet becomes one with it, and he passes it over. And the Rebbe explains, according to this, why by the judge it says Ashiva Sheftenu Kevodi Shoina, like the first times. first. Kavod Yishoina. By a yoyetz, by an advisor, it says kavad chila, like in the beginning. What's the difference between the first and the beginning? So the Rebbe explains the first, the number one can be separated. You can have something right over here. This can be the first thing. It's separated from this roll of paper. This is the beginning of the actual roll of paper. The advisors in the beginning mean when an advisor gives over, or when an advisor is speaking to you, when a judge tells you to do something, there's a gap. There's a separation between what he said and you doing what the judge said. So there's a Rishon is separated, like it says, on the first day, you should get rid of chametz. What's the first day referring to? The day before Pesach, out of Pesach. Rishon, the Gemara says, Rishon me'ikara mashma. Rishon can be separated on its own, not part of the actual 7 days of Pesach. When a judge says something, that's Rishon, that's Rishon. That's the first, but that's not the beginning of the fulfillment of the actual doing. But when a prophet or an advisor says something, because he's to begin with on your level, he's your friend. So when your friend is telling you a good advice to do something, that's already the beginning of it actually happening.
It's the aleph and this Bereishit.
The aleph is Rishon is separated.
And the Bereishit
And Beis is the
Rishon.
beginning. Aleph is the.
And then from Beis is a Rishon. It's a
You're saying Bereishis, Beis Reishis. Actually, Rashi says that it's Bereishis is 2 words. It's Beis
And then
Reishis.
you go to the Reish, it's
But
another dance.
Beis Rishon.
That's what
2
Rashi
first.
says. 2 first. The world was created for 2 things that are called first. Right. So you have the beginning of something, then you have the first. If the first could be over there, the second one could be 50 years later, the next one could be later. It could be all separated things. But the beginning is the beginning of the actual thing. So that's why by the judges it says Kevat Yishoina, by the advisors it says Kevat Chila. Now the Rebbe says that according to this we could also explain why it says when it talks about the redemption, the messianic prophecy, it doesn't say it in a abstract term like in this week's parsha. In this week's parsha it says judges, advisors, but by the Gula it says your judges, your advisors. Why? Because when you're the way it's in this week's parsha, but you're not talking about the Gula. There aren't advisors necessarily. You have policemen, so they're all abstract. There's you. There's the judge saying what Torah wants. There's the policeman that's forcing you to do, but it's not you. You're something else. You're not interested. The judge is telling you do so and so, and you don't want to do it. And you need a policeman to whip you on your whatever and make you do it. So it's not yours. It's not something that you want to do. He's not your judge. It's not your policeman. Your son, he's not one with you. But in the Geula, when you have your Yatzayich, you have advisors, which they're your advisors. He's something that's close to you. So they take the Torah, they take the judge, and they take all the Hayrois of the Torah, and they make it something that's close to you, something that you want to do. It's your judge. It's your advisor. Because he's already considering with where you're holding, and he's there to make it one with you. And that's what the Rebbe brings out of here, that every person needs to have not only a Rav that tells him what Torah wants, but he also needs to have a Mashbiach, which a Mashbiach is there to take the Hirois, the lessons of the Torah, and apply it with you together to your day-to-day life. You could call up a Rav and ask him what's the halacha. You're not going to speak to with a Rav, what's going through your heart, what's your daily schedule, how do you feel, what's going through your emotions, what's going through whatever. That you deal with the Mashmiya. How you dealing in your avoidance Hashem, that's what a Mashmiya is. That he's dealing with you. He's not just looking at you, so to speak, on your external level. He's going more deep down into your kishkis, and he's your friend, so to speak, or he's on your level, he's speaking to you on your level, your language. That's what an advisor is, and that's what every person needs to have. And the Rebbe says that in Jewish history, there's always, like it says in this week's parsha, there's always the judges, and there is the judges and the advisors in every generation. There's always the judges and judge that's there, that's telling you what Torah wants, and also the advisor that's there to bring down the heroes of Torah and bring it and apply it to your day-to-day life. This is true throughout all of history, and the Rebbe says especially from the Baal Shem Tov, and the Mizrach Magid, and the Alter Rebbe, the Mittel Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek, the Rebbe Marash, the Rebbe Rashab, and the Rebbe says his father, and we know the Rebbe also, the Rebbe says they were judges that brought down said what Torah wants, and they were also advisors. They also, that Rebbe says that's what Chassidus is. Chassidus is there to, they're there to bring the Torah and Chassidus and godliness close to your heart, something that you could understand, something that you could connect to and become one with, not something that's abstract from you and aloof from you and separate from you and you feel like it's Chinese or whatever, something that's nothing to do with you. They're there to bring it down and bring it close to you. That's what the Rebbeim are. And the Rebbe also brings out that idea of Yoyatzayich is also the idea of a prophet that they will bring down the heroes of Torah down to this world. The Rebbe says that's what the Rebbeim were. And the Rebbe brings from the Tzemach Tzedek. Tzemach Tzedek writes that Tzemach Tzedek writes like this: Habal Shem Tov Zal, the Baal Shem Tov, the Chayil Levracha, Asher Kamoyu Lo Yehoyah B'Meitz Rishonim. There wasn't a person like him from the days of the Rishonim. Pilei Plois Nisim Hayotzim Ateva. He did wonders upon wonders and wonders, things that were totally not normal, miracles that were above the nature. Asher Hayu Nidim Al Yodai, that everyone saw that the crazy miracles that the Baal Shem Tov was doing, like everyone knows. You say Baal Shem Tov was, when something is totally not normal out of this world, it's called the Baal Shem Tov, Baal Shemska Maaseh, Baal Shemska Noga. And the Rebbe Tzemach Tzedek writes, like I heard from my Zaydi, the Alter Rebbe, Shahu v'Talmid Rebbe Mag and the Shema Sidon, that Baal Shem Tov and his student, which was the Maggid of Mezrich, they were able to see from one corner of the world to the other corner of the world, literally. They knew what's happening everywhere. That the Ruach HaKodesh, they saw the whole world in front of their face. At one time, with their, as if they're seeing it in front of their face, and they would tell people what do they see. They can say, oh, well, now over there something's happening. They saw what's happening all over the whole world. And their students clearly saw that they saw what's happening all over the whole world.
They hopped on the wagon.
They hopped on the wagon, yeah. They were listening and said, that was because by them was shining the light, was revealed to them the light that was shining the first day of creation. That it says with that light you're able to see from one corner of the world to the other corner of the world. And God hid it in Torah, and they were able to access that light and see the whole world. All of these wonders and miracles reveal God's infinite light down here. Tzemach Tzedek writes also from my grandfather, the Alter Rebbe, we heard the future. It told us what's going to happen in the future, and it was verbatim. He says it was to the hair. It was 100% precise he hit it exactly. So the Rebbe brings out that this is what it says in this week's parsha. No, it was last week's parsha. I'm sorry. That God will set prophets. Always there'll be prophets by the Jewish people. If the Jewish people want to know what to do, they're not going to need to go to, fortune tellers and all that baloney. God says, I'm going to set up a prophet within the Jewish people, and you could ask him whatever you want, and he'll be able to tell you, the future. So the Rebbe says, like we see that when the Rambam writes in length in his code of Jewish law all the conditions for prophet, all the different conditions, who could be a prophet, what do you need, all the different signs for a prophet. And not only that, the Rambam also writes about the prophecy of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was a prophet, and how he was a prophet, the difference of Moshe Rabbeinu than the other prophets. So the Rebbe asks, why is the Rambam writing all of this? Who cares? Who needs to know? The Rambam is here a book of law to tell us halachas. So over there in all the laws, the Rambam doesn't write, first of all, a limit. When is there prophecy? When could there be prophecy? Where could be prophecy? The Rambam doesn't write any of those limitations. And the Rambam is saying, why is the Rambam telling us all of these halachas? And he's not putting any limit in time. And also he's telling us all about Moshe Rabbeinu's prophecy, because the Rambam is coming to tell us that if someone has the qualities that a prophet needs to have, he says he needs to be extremely smart. He needs to be someone that his Yetzer Hara never wins over him. He's always miskaber on his Yetzer. He needs to be a strong person. A whole bunch of conditions. And he says if someone fulfills all of these conditions, and he says the future, and you see that whatever he said was fulfilled, and especially if that happens once, twice, 3 times, then you know that this person's a prophet. And you need to listen to him. Huh? So that's what the Rebbe is saying, that the Rabbeim, like we said in the Siyenu, if you find someone now, I'm not saying that there's no prophets in the world, but the Rebbe is saying that the Rabbeim for sure were prophets. The Rebbe is reading from the Tzemach Tzedek. He was saying that the Rebbe Rashab and all the Rabbeim. The Rebbe brings over here also that the Alter Rebbe in Tanya writes, and the Geras HaKodesh, Siman Chav Beis, the Alter Rebbe writes, why are you asking me questions about Gashmistic things? Why are you asking me questions about Eitzis and Parnasa? These things, the Alter Rebbe writes, you need to ask prophets. Who in Jewish history would you ask questions about physical things? Gashmistic things, that was prophets. Like we see, brings Shaul. Shaul went to Shmuel Hanavi to ask him where are the donkeys of his father. Yeah, and he went to him and he told him where the donkeys were. He told him where the donkeys were, which means, and the Alter Rebbe proves from that who deals with donkeys, who knows who's dealing with, that's for prophets. So the Alter Rebbe was complaining and saying, why are you asking me questions and Gashmistic things? So the Rebbe says, nevertheless, after the Alter Rebbe wrote this in Tanya, his Chassidim continued to ask him questions and Gashmistic things, and he continued to answer them. The Alter Rebbe answered all the questions. Says the Rebbe, that itself proves this, that he's saying who answers Gashmistic things? Prophets. And then you're asking him a question, and he's answering your question again and again and again and again. That itself proves that the Alter Rebbe was a prophet. So all of this, the Rebbe is saying over here that the Rabbeim were prophets, the Nevi'im, And that's what Teres Achsidis is, this idea to bring down godliness into this world. A shayfet could not necessarily bring it down here into this world. It's going to be separated from this world. It can be higher than the world. A prophet here is the whole point of a prophet. A prophet, what's the difference between a prophet and the Rebbe actually brings it down over here, which this is, in my opinion, the biggest bomb of this whole sikha. The Rebbe is going to say. The Rebbe says something over here. We see Rashbi, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, writes in Zoyar. Yeah, you're listening to Rabbi Tauber, Zoyar. He writes a Kate, so Mashiach is going to come in the year Tov Ches. And everyone was waiting. Everyone knew. In Zohar it says Mashiach is going to come in that year. Year Tov Ches. And Yidden were waiting, and that year came. And what happened in the year Tach V'Tat? That's when most of the European Yidden got killed. They had these pogroms, and it was really crazy. So where was the Gula? Where was the Mashiach? So the Alter Rebbe has a mimer. And he writes that what's the difference between, he says, a chacham, a shayfet, and a navi, and a prophet. So he says, a chacham in Titus, he can see the future. He can see the future, but he sees the future the way it's up there in high spiritual worlds. He sees his soul is from some high spiritual world, an Atzilus or whatever, and he sees the future the way it's in that world. The Chacham sees the future the way it's in that high spiritual world. And he says, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, because that's what he sees in the high spiritual worlds. Now, not necessarily, usually, or generally speaking, what he sees in this high spiritual world, it's able to come down, all the way down here to this world also and take place. But sometimes, while it's coming down from the world of Atzilus or from some other high spiritual world, somewhere down the line, it could get stopped. There could be different policemen over there in the middle saying, license, registration, I'm sorry, you have no visa, you have no permit, you have no affidavit, whatever it is, I don't know what all these other names. I'm sorry, you have to stay here in world of Atzilus, you can't go down. So the Alter Rebbe writes, Rashbi saw Mashiach was going to come in that year, but Rashbi was in some spiritual world.
Which year was he?
Tov Ches. And the Alter Rebbe says, for sure, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai saw the truth. He was 100% right. But in that world where he was, and in that spiritual world, Mashiach came in that year. But while it was coming down to this world, it got stopped and it got flipped around. Sometimes when you have a case on a specific year, actually it says clearly over here in the back of the Tehillim, if anyone wants, maybe threw that in, okay, whatever. So, in the back of the Tehillim, there's stories over it. It says also there's a year, Tov Reish Ches. The Alter Rebbe made a case. The Alter Rebbe said Mashiach is going to come in that year. He has a mimer, he said Mashiach is coming in that year. That year, the Tzemach Tzedek was like a very, very serious on Rosh Hashanah. And he said that every single day, he told 10 people, didn't want anyone to know, he said they should say the whole entire Tehillim every single day in the morning till he tells them to stop. And he says over here, he writes, why? He says, because any year that there's a case on that year, he says you need to be ma'oder a lot of rachamim. You need to be ma'oder a lot of, where is it? That's right over here. So everyone was wondering why is he saying to say so here. Where is it? Basically, that year there was a case, there was a deadline. The Alter Rebbe said Mashiach is going to come. Now, what's the problem? If you have this light, if it doesn't come down correctly, you can flip around and be a disaster. So therefore, he was saying to say the whole entire time, every single day. He said it was a very big Seder that was meant to happen, whatever. And he said to say so much to him of that. And what ended up happening, they printed that year for the first time the Likutei Torah. For the first time. And he said, after the year was finished, that Rebbe Maharash came to his father, the Tzemach Tzedek, and he said, where's Mashiach? So he said the Likutei Torah was printed. That was a light in Mashiach. Says in when Mashiach said, I'm going to be busy knowing God, and that's what it is. So the Rebbe Maharash said, we need Mashiach. Lamata Basara Tvachim. We need Mashiach. Literally, not only some spiritual Mashiach. That's what the Rebbe Maharash answered. But that, brought the light down. But the point is, when the Alter Rebbe said Mashiach is going to come, he didn't just say some spiritual Mashiach. He said Mashiach is going to come in that year. But the way when the Alter Rebbe was talking about Mashiach, now let's go back to the Maimar of the Alter Rebbe, the way the Alter Rebbe is talking about the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He says Rashbi saw Mashiach the way it is in the spiritual world. And that's what he told the Yidden down here. And he hoped that it would come all the way down to this world. And it wouldn't get stopped on the way. But they didn't merit, and it flipped around. The Alter Rebbe said, so too we could understand what the Alter Rebbe said the year is going to come, and it didn't take place. But it came out in the Likutei Torah. Now the Alter Rebbe writes in his Maimon, and he says, all of this is what? He says, that's the idea of a shofet. That's the idea of a chacham. Torah, the way it's in high spiritual worlds. The Alter Rebbe says, but if a prophet is going to say that Mashiach is going to come, and he's going to say it as a prophecy, not as a chacham, not as a judge, but as a prophet, which the whole idea of a prophet is, like we said, it's the way God comes down here in this world. And what does a prophet deal with? A prophet deals with donkeys. He deals with physical things. A prophet is dealing, when a prophet talks, he's not talking about the high spiritual world. He's talking about this physical, kashmistic world. So the Alter Rebbe says, if a prophet is going to say Mashiach is coming, if this concept of Mashiach coming is going to come out to the mouth of a prophet, says the Alter Rebbe, it's for sure going to happen. It can be just like some other cats. It's not another cat. It's not another timeline that's in something that could end up being something spiritual, because the Alter Rebbe says in the Maimon over there, how did God make this world? With his speech, with his word, with 10 utterances. What's keeping this world running? God's words, God's talk, God's speech. This world is living off of God's words. What's a prophet? The word, the meaning of navi, which is prophet, means nivs fasayim, the movement of lips, speech. The whole point of a prophet is to pass over God's words. When a prophet talks, you believe in the prophet, not because of the prophet. The prophet is only a speaker, that someone else is playing music through him. A prophet is not him, the prophet. It's God's word going through a prophet. You're believing in God's words that's going through this person. But someone's a prophet and he proves that he gets proven that he's a prophet because he says the future again and again, and you see that he was right. So you know that this person is a real speaker. He's totally nullified to God and God's message. God could pass through this person a message. So the Rebbe is saying now that what he's saying that the Gula is coming, says now it's already a prophecy, which it has to happen. It's not only like a judge. It's not only something that's abstract from this world. It's not another ketz. It's not another timeline that Rashbi said or the Alter Rebbe said or like you have the Abarbanel and the Rasag and the Rambam and the Ramban and the Rashi and all.
That it came already in the world outside Alassir.
What do you mean?
Mashiach, they came in the world of Korea, or
So that already says in Sfarim for sure.
Oh, they're saying
It says that it says that Mashiach and other Chassidish Sfarim I saw clearly. The Frierdiker Rebbe actually writes this, has a whole sech. It says in the world above our head, Mashiach's already here. They're dancing already. There's the Beis Hamikdash is built. They're already partying away with the Gula. They're already Mashiach. They're already living with Mashiach.
He's in the sea.
What?
Mashiach.
So yeah, but no, he's saying so. First of all, no. So he's asking a question: if in the world above us, if the Gula already came above us, so yes,
the blockages weren't in that world.
it's all in all the worlds. And you're right. It says no, so lift up your head. He said if you're gonna lift up your head a little bit and you're gonna put your head into, you can see what's happening up there. You know, you have a hole in the roof, and you look in the attic. It says if you're gonna pick your head up. You'll already see the goal. You're already going to see everything. That's what
That's the meaning of the veil being moved.
be Yitzira, yeah, Yitzira, right. But the Rebbe is saying over here it's even more than that. That the goal is coming, it's already something that penetrated this physical world that it's for sure going to happen. It's for sure going to happen. And the Rebbe's words is very soon. The question is how do you define that? And I'm not looking to define. I thought about this a lot, to define what does it mean exactly very soon. Because a person is not allowed. I was thinking, okay, so you're going to find some sefer or here or there that says very soon means 20 years, 30 years.
What's the words?
La'alter legula and take of miyad mamish in izem Mashiach ba. La'alter and take of miyad mamish. The question is, what does that mean? That the gula is coming right away. So in the beginning, I thought, okay, so let me look to see how do you define the altar? How much time is that? How do you define take of the mamish? But then I realized that you're not allowed to do such a thing, which means you're not allowed to. You could in Daniel. He also says when Mashiach is going to come. He says after 25 plus 36 plus and he gives you a whole calculation. Then the gold is going to come. That's what Daniel says. He gives a whole numbers and this plus this plus this plus that and 20 and 46 plus years plus this, and that's where the goal is going to come. Now, there's different people that open up the Daniel and they try to figure out, okay, which year is that? When is that going to be? So there's an Isser, the Gemara says, and the Rambam brings it la'alacha, Tipoch ruchan shal machash v'kitzin. You know what that means? Tipoch ruchan shal machash v'kitzin, or a different opinion is Tipoch atzman shal machash v'kitzin. Every person has an etzem luz. He has a bone in the back of his neck, and it says that's where Tchis HaMeisim is going to happen. Even after the whole body disintegrates or whatever, there's still always a bone that never disintegrates. And from that bone, God is going to rebuild the whole body in Tchis HaMeisim. Just like the baby was born came from nothing, so do God from that bone, which is from the original body, God will reform the whole entire body. Now it says that if a guy is busy trying to figure out and making dates, that bone should be blown up, which means such a person should get up in Tchis HaMeisim. That's how severe it is to start. And what's the problem? If you think about it, what's the problem? What's the problem is because if a guy's thinking to figure out what day Mashiach's going to come, he's not going to wait for Mashiach to come today.
It's not a punishment. It's saying if you're thinking that way, you'll never be able to bring that time. It's amazing. You're so worried about it. You're not aligned.
And also, it's taking away from a chakal b'chol yom shaveh. A person is meant to wait every single day that today Mashiach is going to come. We hope the whole entire day that he should come today. So a guy's going to try to match the Rebbe's words that he said very soon to some other place where it says very soon. So he's already, and the Rebbe said he's saying it as a prophecy, which it must happen. So he's already trying to figure out the end line. You know what I'm saying? Which you're not meant to do that. Why? Because you're meant to wait every single day that today's the end line. Today's the day. Now, no calculations, years, something, this, next week, next month, I don't know what. You don't need any numbers. Person's meant to hope and wait every single day. But in my opinion, again, I think this is the biggest bomb from the whole Sikha, what the Rebbe said of the year. And in many, many Sikhs of the Rebbe. That the Rebbe is saying that what he's saying, that the Gula is coming, is not just a case, which you can miss it. You know, it was a opportunity, and then we missed the boat, we missed the train, we missed this, we missed the chance, and then the Gula is going to come. Who knows when? The Rebbe is saying it as a prophecy and as a nevuah, which means we're trusting the Rebbe, like not because of the Rebbe, it's because we believe in God, and we believe that the Rebbe did his. The Rebbe said the future again and again and again, and he fulfilled all the criteria to be a Navi when he said do this, do that, and like Victor said on Shabbos, the whole story with Florida. You know, I watched the video. I put it on the group. Everyone was saying,
I'm looking for that.
"Huh? You were looking for it?
Yeah,
Okay, now you found it."
Maybe after Mashiach comes out.
it's on YouTube.
People, everyone, I heard from Ben Rosenbaum. He didn't know the whole story, but he said there was a guy that was a Lubavitcher. This is the way he could categorize him. And the Rebbe said to stay. And he didn't listen. He listened to the news. And he said he went to Kindle. What? If he didn't listen to it, whatever. But he went to, he didn't listen. He went, and he said that guy had the worst night of his life. He said he got it, and he said all the other Lubavitchers that stayed there, nothing happened. So basically, we're dealing with something that's above this. It's not. I was going to say above this world, but I'm not going to say above this world because it's not. The point is, it's in this world. He knows what's really happening in this world more than the forecasters. So the point is, the point of
הרבי לא רק יודע, הרבי עושה את הדברים. אתה אומר, הוא רואה.
הוא גורם שיהיה, אוקיי?
הוא דיבר עם, איך קוראים לו, זה שהיה מהפכה ברוסיה, בין מקפצות...
גורבצ'וב.
הוא אומר שרבי אמר ככה וככה. הוא אומר, בזמן הרבי אמר...
הוא לא ידע, חשב על זה.
הוא לא חשב על זה. אז הוא אמר שהרבי לא רואה, הרבי עושה את הדברים.
Yeah. They say the Rebbe doesn't only see the future, the Rebbe creates the future. The Rebbe made that this and this should happen. Well, the point is, we need to, the Rebbe is saying over here, you need to appoint judges, you need to appoint advisors. The Torah says you should listen to the judges. You should appoint and listen to them. The point is, we need to know that God remerited in this generation to have the Rebbe. And the Rebbe gave so much. So the Rebbe has, like I said, the story many times, but I'm going to say it again. I like his Shmaka Maisa, that I was by KC, and I was learning in Beis Mordechai in the Kollel over there. I used to be Rabbi Smith's Chavarissa for a year by his Kollel, and I needed Uber. So usually I order Uber X, not Uber Share, because I don't know who's going to be sitting there in the cars. Even though it's more expensive. Not that I would hug him. That's no problem. I would hug him and kiss him. But it could be a guy, whatever it is. So, but that day, when I wanted to order the Uber, it showed that the Uber share was $7.70. I saw $7.70. So I said, $7.70, I have to order it. Shkocha Pratis. So I clicked on the 770 Uber, and the car pulls up, and I open the door, and right away the driver tells me, "Oh, shalom." I'm like, "Oh, wow. It's the first time the Uber driver is telling me shalom." Okay, that's not enough. The Uber driver tells me, I asked him, "Are you Jewish?" He tells me, "No, I'm not Jewish." He says, "But I love the Lubavitcher Rebbe." And right over there, he pulls it down, and he shows me as a picture of the Rebbe.
In the car?
In the car. And this is like right when I moved to Florida, like 2 months after I'm here in Florida, and the whole place looks to me like a desert. All of a sudden, the Uber 770, Shalom, a picture of the Rebbe. Wow. So I asked the guy, like, why do you love the Rebbe? What's your connection to? It's not Jewish. A guy, a picture of the Rebbe in his car, and he tells me he loves the Rebbe. So he told me that he got the book, Toward a Meaningful Life, which is Namanis Simon Jacobson. Simon Jacobson did the avoida of being a yoyitz, being an advisor, which means he took all of the Rebbe's, the shofet, the Rebbe's Torah throughout all the years, and he brought it down to simple English and practical English, and he goes through the whole life cycle from beginning till whatever, and he explains the deeper meaning of everything according to the Rebbe's Torah and the Rebbe's, view and hashkafa, and it's really not some abstract Kabbalistic words. It's very, very simple, very practical. That a guy, and this guy tells me that he got the book, he went through it, and he says that's it. He's hooked on to the Rebbe. He said each page in the book, he says, is a diamond. Each page is a diamond, and he says I don't read it quickly. I read it slowly, line by line, because I want it to sink in, digest it. And he says he goes over the book again and again. Toward a Meaningful Life. Down over here. So, what do we see from this? So people say, someone asked me over here, way back, whatever, who's running the Lubavitch? Like, why isn't there another spiritual leader? Whatever. There's all these different, however you want to categorize the question. So, what my answer was, just to make it like very as simple as possible. First of all, like the Mendel Futterfast said, after Gimel Tammuz, so when he was in Gulag, in these labor camps, and he didn't have an esrik, he didn't take a lemon instead. If you don't have an esrik, you don't have an esrik. You can't exchange an esrik with a lemon. Either you're an esrik or you're not an esrik. And Rebbe is not just someone that's sitting down on a fancy chair and talking and running a show and knows how to whatever. That's not how you define a Rebbe. So if you have the soul of a Rebbe, you're in a Shabbat Klalis, it's a whole different ball game. It's not just so first of all, I thought, like, what do you mean, why isn't? First of all, if the Rebbe wanted, the Rebbe would have appointed someone in advance. He knew what's happening, whatever it is, and he didn't appoint no one. And he said, if someone's going to have a question in halacha, he should go to a Rav. The Rebbe said, if Gimel Tammuz is going to happen, he didn't say Gimel Tammuz, but right after his wife's, he said, if something like this is going to happen, if you have a question in halacha, you should go to Chassidish Rav. If you have a question in health, you should go to a friendly a doctor that's a professional and that he's your friend, that he cares about you for real. He's not just looking to make money. He's gonna dump you with I don't know what. The guy that really cares about you. And if you have a question that avoidance Hashem, you have a mashmiach. He says that's what you should do. That would clearly, like, it didn't say what should you do. There's gonna be Mr. This and this guy, and he's gonna be my he's gonna take me over. The Rebbe didn't say that. But besides for that, so there's like no one else. But the point is, the Rebbe is in his Torah, is in his letters, he's in his writings. You see this person, some guy from Peru, that never saw the Rebbe, never nothing, he loves the Rebbe. And he has a picture of the Rebbe in his car. Why? Because he read the Rebbe's teachings. And he's living off of that. Which means the guy wants to know. I remember I spoke with someone over here from the show, I'm not saying names. He had a very big question. Not going to say life and the opposite, but it was something like that. Or actually, I would put it in that category to a certain level. It is. And he said he wants to write to the Rebbe. And he said he wants to write to Igros, put it in Igros Kodesh in the Rebbe's letters and see what the Rebbe is going to answer. So I told him, There's no need to put it in Igros Kodesh. When do you need to go to Igros Kodesh if the Rebbe never said what to do in this case? But the Rebbe clearly spoke about what to do in this exact case, many, many times. So let's learn what the Rebbe said to do in this case. And I sat down with him here in Shul. And we went through a whole bunch of sikhs and letters about this specific thing. And I remember after that, he started screaming. He's like out of happiness and being like smart and overwhelmed and whatever. And he's like, this is whatever he was saying. Like he got such a clarity. It was so clear what to do. He was in some like this, him and his wife, and they didn't know what to do, and it's a whole mishmash, and they're all not. And then he sees it's black and white. So if you just learn, you look inside, the Rebbe clearly said exactly how to deal with this case. So the Rebbe is still the Rebbe. There's no question. You want to know what to do? You have the Rebbe's teachings, his writings, and this is where you can know exactly what to do, how to do, and this is how he's guiding you. So that's the point. This week's parasha is the Torah is telling us there's a mitzvah. You should appoint judges. You should appoint policemen. We don't need policemen. We have advisors. And there's a mitzvah that you need to have these Jewish figures in Judaism. Kairach said, no, we don't need it. We're all holy. But that was a problem. God has his ways that he passes over his messages. And there needs to be a Moshe Rabbeinu. The Torah says you should appoint a judge, you should appoint the advisors, you should appoint this, that they should teach you the Torah. So the Rebbe is saying we need to know that what the Rabbeim are teaching us, this is something that God wants us to accept. And we could internalize it like an advisors, that you could understand it and bring it into your understanding. And we need to know that this generation has the privilege of all what the Rebbe, so much information the Rebbe gave, and so much guidance that it's eye-opening. We can turn the light on in many people's lives, turn the light on in the room instead of being the Rebbe's chassidus is light. It's light. And the main thing is the Rebbe's message to us that Mashiach is on his way. Kul is on his way. And we're going to see it very soon. The Rebbe says it's not going to be a surprise when Mashiach comes. And this also is. It's not going to be a surprise. Why not? Because if the Geula wasn't in this world, so it's in Asiyah already. It needs to unfold and reveal itself. But it's already in Asiyah, the Rebbe said.
It's in Yitzhak.
It's Yitzhak for sure, it's already revealed. And down here, it's not revealed yet, but it's down here, it's in the world. The Rebbe says, when the Geula is going to come, it's not going to be a shock. It's going to be, Mashiach came, won't be surprised. It's already in this world. It's already something that you're used to, so to speak. It's something that's already, it started already to a certain point. So when the Geula is going to come, it's going to be like, yeah, I know this. I'm used to this already.
So the Geula is not revealed, it's in the Siyah, but the Mashiach is in Yitzhak. Is that what you're saying?
No, both are in Asiyah.
Both of them.
Both of them are here in Asiyah. The soul of Mashiach is in Asiyah all the way down here. Everything is down here, the Rebbe says. The Rebbe's word is, no, there's the revelation. It's revealed. And down here, the base of English isn't built yet. All the Yidden are not in Eretz Yisrael yet. We don't have the redemption in an open way. It's down here in this world, but it needs to reveal itself. Everything is here. The Rebbe is saying Mashiach is here, the redemption is here, everything is here, but it's not revealed. In the world above, it's revealed. They're dancing, they're singing, they're celebrating.
Right.
They're already, but in this world, the Rebbe said everything is already here. So when the Geula comes, it won't be something that we're not used to.
The more science advances, the closer their explanations are to Hasidus. the more they go, we're from an original source, original molecule quark. We're expanding, we're ever expanding, we're expanding. It's all, the deeper they go, the closer they get to Kabbalah Hasidus. Consistently, it's gonna eventually merge. It's almost there. It's scary
Right.
how similar it is.
The Zohar says that. The Zohar says,
That could be what
Parshas
it's saying.
Noach,
It's saying
600.
It's already here. It's not even.
So right, that's certain sense, right? Everything is here. It needs to read. The Rebbe said also later on, not here, but it's similar to here, that everything is here. We just need to open up our eyes. You know, open up our eyes and see.
You study study fungi, mycelium. It's the way Hasidus describes the network of neshamas and spirits and like the whole world. It's fascinating. Fascinating stuff.
The Rebbe says, it says that in Zohar, Parshas Noach, it says that 600 years to the next life, the water started raining from above, and the water from below also started popping out. Right? From above and below, all the water that's on the ground started bursting and then raining. So the Zohar says, so too, in 600 years of the 6th millennia, Chamesh, I'm getting mixed up. 1 second. I need a.
1 second.
Wait, 600 years after the 6th millennia? Or in
We have a Zohar.
There's no
Yeah, but
Parsa
what?
Shoftim, right? Oh no, there's no Ray.
I don't want to get mixed up between Noach.
No Ray. Yeah.
I thought it was okay to have no strength.
There's a Ray. It's just to hit it. The Ray is in there. It's just not under the category Ray.
Here, it says 600 years. Okay, I was right. So the Zohar says in 600 years of the 6th millennia, it's going to start raining from above and below, which is above. He says it's Chochmah Ilah, and below is Chochmat Atah. The water is going to be flowing, and that's all the preparation to enter the 7th millennia. So, which means Chochmah Ilah says that's Chochmah of Torah. Chochmah Atah is the Chochmah of the world. And all of that is a preparation for the Kula. So the Rebbe says that year is around when the Baal Shem Tov came. Around. So that is he says
Well Springs.
right, the Wild Springs, he says that's when the Torah was put into the Torah Chassidus started coming up. And the year of the Baal Shem Tov was born around in the year Tovkov, around to the second, but that's the year which is around that time. So from Tovkov is 500 years. Tafresh, 600 years is when we said that whole Kates from the Alter Rebbe. That's when they printed the Likutei Torah and the Torah. That's when the Chassidus started kicking in. So that's a preparation for Mashiach. But the question is, what does Chochmat Atah, which the Rebbe says here is science, that's also Achana for Mashiach. That is, the Zohar says, is a preparation for Mashiach. And the question is, what does science have to do with Mashiach?
Even basic science, even the discovery of a sound wave is a crazy thing that Kabbalah discusses in depth.
So here, that's the Rebbe talks about. The Rebbe talks about radio waves in this Sikha.
Okay, there you go.
He talks about radio waves. He talks about neutrons, lutrons, and nextrons, whatever it's called. Huh?
Everyone goes Torah Umada. It's literally the exact same thing.
And he explains over here how the world itself, the science itself is achana for Yemei Mashiach. And he gives a few examples how we see how science itself is there and it's enhancing Torah. It's making that itself is achana for Yemei Mashiach. He brings the idea of radio waves. When you turn out a radio wave, it penetrates the whole world. The question is, you need to have the right kli to pick it up, the right whatever you call it, the right kli, the right receiver. So most radios have a certain capacity, so they pick it up. When you go too far, the watts and the this and the that and whatever. But if you have the right receiver, it's and then it brings out, I think, this that when someone does a good thing, it can affect the whole world. The guy does something, it affects the ear of the whole entire world. He says a simple example. You learned in Pirkei Avos, a guy's in the middle of nowhere, you tell him someone's watching. Someone can see, someone else sees what you're doing over here. So it was always a murder, it was always faith. I know ya. Guys in the desert, no one's there, there's an eye watching. Now a guy could be no one's there, there could be a little camera in the corner over there on the roof. There's something that can be seeing you, even though there's no one there, and you know someone else far away can see you. That's what Torah told you, but it didn't make sense. Now it makes sense. You can see what's happening on the other side of the world, and many other examples. But he brings out the idea of neutrons, neutron, or whatever. People thought that the whole world is many, many million things. So whatever it is, not only the years, but different things. Science came and to show you oneness. How everything really is only three things. And so, like you were saying, everything is really one. Everything is really the Eibishter, Hashem Echad. But science is telling you, is showing you that everything is really just coming.
They're just searching for source.
They're going deeper and deeper.
The exact thing that we're doing. It's the same thing. We're searching for a never-ending source.
They're zooming in as much as they
And
can.
they're zooming out. We're going in both directions. They
Uh-huh.
can't stop. And they just keep going. And it keeps matching this. The more they go, the more it matches.
Chaim l'chaim. We should accept the judges and the advisors, the prophets of our times. Should internalize their Torah, their directives, which is all coming from the Eibishter. And the main thing is that we should know that the Gula is coming very soon. Sheikh is coming very soon. And we should spread the message out to the whole world. And it's really, you have to know how privileged we are. If we would take it serious, we would be screaming, we would be dancing, we would be going crazy. But that's the problem is we have to really understand. The Rebbe told us that it's a prophecy, it's for sure. Like Moshe Rabbeinu telling Eden, you guys are getting out of Mitzrayim, you guys are getting out of Golos. Got to know that we're the generation of the redemption. We think that the world, the way it is like it'll be like this. Who knows how? No, Sheikh is coming. The Gula is coming. The Rebbe said the Gula is coming. The Rebbe didn't give a date. The Rebbe didn't limit. The Rebbe didn't make this, but he said it's coming. And the Rebbe is not just. The Torah says it's coming. It says it in Chumash. Obviously, the Rebbe is coming to add something. The prophet said Mashiach is coming. It says in the Siddur. You have to wait every day. There's obviously something that the Rebbe is coming to give us more than all of that. He's saying that the Gula is coming soon. I don't know exactly when, but he said it's coming soon, very soon. And we have to hope every day that he meant now, that this God meant when he told him to say it, that it means today. We have to wait every single day to hope that it's today. Now in the month of Elul, the Rebbe says that we're actually going to get it because we're some Rosh Chodesh Elul. In the month of Elul, there's 5 Rashi Tevis, there's 5 acronyms of Elul that symbolize the 5 avoidance of Elul that we have to add in this month. There's Torah, which is Ina Liyodai V'Sam Dilach. You have to add in learning Torah. There's Tefillah, prayers, Ani L'Doidi V'Doidi Li. Gemilas Chasadim is Ish L'Re'eyu Mataris Le'Vyoidim. Then there's Tshuva, Es Levavcha V'Es Levav. Umal Hashem L'Kecha Es Levavcha V'Es Levav. Zarech Lav Es Hashem L'Kecha. It's Tshuva. And Geula is a Shira La Hashem Hayem Ruleimer. But make a zimmer, make a zimmer. Shema the Rebbe Velachmat V'Adayla. Shachad Moshalef D'Lecheinu. Cham L'Bracha.
But if it says that you shouldn't
Amen.
We shouldn't try to calculate when Mashiach is coming, because then it wouldn't wait for him today like he's coming today. But if the people were able to see when Mashiach is coming, then they wouldn't wait for them like he's coming today, because they know the year he's coming.
You say if like a prophet or someone like that.
Yeah, if he knows the year Mashiach is coming, if you know Mashiach is coming,
But even then, I'll tell you why. He wouldn't. It wouldn't limit his waiting. Why not? Because the Gemara says that there's a time when he's going to come, but you can also make it come before its time. When are you getting to tell your daughter or whatever? Yeah, I'm going to give you your prize in 10 minutes. No, I want to know. And then they start crying and.
It'll be 10 minutes is too long.
So you can't hold yourself. Yeah, it's too much of that. They can't. So you give them after 5 minutes, after 2 minutes, after 1 minute. Even though God made a time, but we could still. The Gemara says clearly we can make it happen before its time. So all of these tzaddikim that it could be that they saw, they knew exactly the time and the date when Mashiach is going to come. But we can make it happen before that. And they can make it happen before that. They didn't stop hoping that Mashiach is going to come. Even if someone knew exactly, they didn't stop hoping that Mashiach should come right now, today. And also, I'm just thinking about it. We need to view Mashiach also as something that's up to us. These date things and time things is more like, it's like, okay, there's a time when Mashiach's going to come, and I'm going to sit down and wait and relax and go to sleep till that time. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing anything. You need to feel that Mashiach's going to come when you do what you need to do. You're going to do. That's what I said. No, today's Chumash. You need to know it's. You need to know it's in your hands. It's in your hands to bring Mashiach. You're gonna do the right. You're gonna do another mitzvah. You're gonna learn more Torah. You're gonna daven more. Whatever it is, you're gonna bring Mashiach. This time calculation stuff is making as if like, okay, it's pre-programmed and that's it. I can't do anything. I can't change it. We need to view it that it's in our hands. That's what the Rambam says. The Torah says. The Gemara says that if we do tshuva, we do mitzvahs. Even if the God has a time, it's going to come before that. The Rebbe said actually that time already had passed.
What passed?
The time the Gemara says is the Be'ita. The Rebbe said this several times. The Be'ita already happened.
It's a me'ita.
Be'ita means there's in its time and before its time. So the will come before its time and in its time. So that's what I'm trying to say over here. Even if they knew a time, but we can still bring it before its time through adding a Torah mitzvahs. But the Rebbe said its time was already. That time already passed. The Rebbe said that more than once. We already passed the Be'ita, and we don't know why he still didn't come. Toots out. Vasser can do whatever you can. So the bottom line is we need to know. We did everything, right? We don't understand why it's kratzing.
Right.
Do everything you can.
That's the point.
So l'chaim,
Chaim.
we should connect ourselves to the Rebbe more, and there's good news that he told us that the Gula is coming soon. Mashiach is coming soon, and we should spread the message. And it's for our good, like the Torah says in these parashas many times. The Tovlach, Rei Nosati Rusi, I'm giving you. It's for your good. Whatever the Rebbe told us to do this, do that, for our own good. It's for our own benefit. If we hop on the wagon, it's just benefiting us, 100%. So, like we were saying, we have to add in all the Yonah in the month of Elul, and in the 5 Rosh Tevis, and like we said in the Kabbalistic words, it's the 3 Rosh Tevis of Torah, Tefillah, Gvus, Chasadim, is Bri, Tzira, Asiyah, Tshuva, which is higher than the world, is Atzilus, and Gul is even higher than Atzilus. It's the Maitzil, the previous of the Kesed, Avira. That's the 5th Rosh Tevis, Yechidah Shemen Neshama. You have never shown Neshama Chai, Yechidah, the highest level. That's Mashiach. That's the 5th Rosh Tevis, and that Yechidah, that level needs to penetrate everything else. We need to be permeated in our Torah, feeling we need to be on the Yechida level, on the redemption mode, which starts through learning about the redemption, learning about the Beis Hamikdash. We should anticipate and wait and look out for Mashiach to come. We're going to see Mashiach literally down here on earth physically very soon. Mashiach now, l'chaim, l'chaim.
Yeah.
So you're saying that it's still going?
Yeah, whatever, you can talk, it doesn't hurt. Question and answer. And
So you said that this guy didn't have to write in because they never said everything.
for that case, exactly, was Ruven, yeah.
Okay, see you next Wednesday.
What about
Beautiful stuff.
like
Yeah.
Small, right?
Your specific case?
Yeah.
So first of all, you're right anyways, for a brach or whatever, the Rebbe should daven. The Rebbe should be ba'ir rachva v'rabim v'chul v'chul. That's number one. Then there is...
Amen.
Then there is Reif and Bubach Yedid. You have a Reif and Bubach Yedid.
The doctors want they want her to make the decision.
The question is, if you have a personal Reif and Bubach Yedid, that's the Rebbe's category in all of these letters, and many letters he writes. So you have to find one. If the Rebbe says for sure they exist. The question is, listen, if the Rebbe says
this official doctor.
Reif and Bubach Yedid, 100% they exist. The question is, you have to find them. Maybe you have to look your guy to what's such a time. There's for sure Reif and Bubach Yedid. That's for sure doctors that are professional, and they do care about that you did or not.
She has doctors that care about it, but they don't want to make the decision. They want her to make the decision.
What did they? Okay, whatever. So this maybe doesn't have no one's business.
They want her to make the decision. They don't want to make the decision.